what can we do then on an individual level to make this shift happen?
Yeah, so I'm going to answer that in a meta way first.
Sure.
Ask that question earnestly a lot and really work for answers without assuming that any authority already has them. And not assuming that there aren't places that have a lot of answer that you want to study, right? But like, for whatever faults we can assess there, Gandhi did some very meaningful things that have not been done at that scale, maybe ever. And one of the interesting parts of the story, when he said, in South Africa the first time, then India later, he said, okay, I'm gonna stop this. I'm gonna get home rule for India. And people said, how? He said, I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
But he said, like, I know that it's right. I know that these people being enslaved by another people is not right. I know that's right. So I'm committed to aligning my life to make it happen fully before knowing how. There's a decision before the problem solving.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it was like, then because of that, he said, so my how, I'm going to just sit here and journal and think about it and meditate and pray and do whatever process I have to come up with a how. And then when I get that how, I'm going to try it. And then when it failed, he was like, no, I didn't fail. I just learned something, kind of like Edison's light bulb, and try again. We have to take something, an approach where there's a knowing that we don't actually know how to do this fundamentally new phase yet. We want to learn from all the people that have been thinking well about it, and we want to be thinking well about it, and we want to be adding our energy to it as best as we can, and we want to get really fucking earnest about that. And notice, wait, where am I actually just kind of mostly trying to win at the current system, and what does that mean, and think more deeply about it. So the first thing I would say is really that, like, rather than me give an answer, do this thing, it's activate yourself as an agent of sense making, as a capable being that can actually make sense of shit and think about it and work on stuff.
I agree.
And so the answer, what can you do? One thing that it is not is donate some money to charity and go do some volunteer work sometimes and recycle and like ride your bike to work. All of that is lovely, and we still hit catastrophe if that's the best we're doing, because it's not like decrease our personal consumption a little bit, try and do some good stuff, changes anything at scale. Like, people have to take a deeper level of responsibility for how do we actually change these meta systems? What could a future of economics post-capitalism that's viable really look like? So then you say, well, I don't know, let's start studying it, study post-capitalism and study different systems that have been proposed, and then look at what are groups that are working on things, and is there something I can meaningfully contribute? All right, well, that system makes sense, but I have no idea how the fuck we get there. All right, what might a transitional system that's intelligible to the current system but vectors towards that? So maybe aspects of the Venus Project and resource-based economies are not fully dialed in, but there are parts of it that are right. But how do you vector there? Maybe some parts of cryptocurrency, blockchain is also inadequate, but maybe can vector there. You start kind of really dialing in what are the closest things we know for how to think about both what a viable civilization could look like and how we can vector there.